Hello, Pisces, and welcome to my channel, Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs, looking at your recent past, your current energy, and your immediate future, answering the question, what do you need to know right now in order to move forward in alignment with your higher self? As always, I've gone ahead and pulled the overall energy for the reading and clarified those messages, which we'll jump into in just a second. I have the overall theme already pulled, which we'll also dive into in a second. I have the tarot deck and the clarification deck already shuffled, as well as the advice deck that I'll be using in the extended. Any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading with me is in the description box below. Last thing, please remember that these are general readings. They are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and leave what does not. All right, Pisces, in your recent past, you have take time to breathe out with the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. This is interesting because it doesn't feel like things were necessarily going like quote unquote your way in the recent past. I feel like things were, it felt maybe like things were going wrong. But with the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, to me, what I really see that card as is a blessing in disguise. Now, I'm going to go ahead and actually jump into the overall theme for the reading because you have cleansing. And this cleansing and this take time to breathe out card are really like similar like energies to me. And I feel like it's almost like, especially if there were certain things, like I don't know if this was cleansing yourself like physically, like cleansing out certain people that weren't supposed to be in your life, or cleansing out like things from your life, or if it was like an emotional or spiritual cleansing. And oftentimes those do go hand in hand, so it could have been a little bit of both. But I feel like what this reading is saying is that whether or not it has felt like it, things are working out for you here, because in your current energy you have luck is on your side with the Empress. So I feel like this is, it's like luck is on your side when it comes to how things are going to unfold. But then there's this caveat. There's this caveat of if you make sure that you are recognizing your own worth and acting in alignment with that, with the Empress here, choosing yourself, standing up for yourself, making decisions that are best for you. You have to remember you have to fill up your cup first. You can only help other people, or be there for other people, or take care of other people to the extent that you do all of those things for yourself first. And so making sure that you are doing that first, so that you have the energy to be able to give and therefore attract good things into your life. So believe in your good luck. Believe in what feels impossible, because you have believe in the impossible with the Knight of Wands. I don't know if there's some sort of like risk that you're needing to take, or this is just kind of like believing in what you don't think feels possible and like taking steps in that direction, which can feel like a risk. It doesn't necessarily need to be like a giant leap of faith or anything, but I do feel like your immediate future is about really believing in what you are capable of and what might seem impossible because you've never experienced it before, right? Like the reason that we tend to think that certain outcomes are impossible is because we're like, well, we've never experienced those. You've never experienced the love that you desire, or the financial situation that you desire, the outcome that you desire. So a part of you is going to believe in alignment with what you've experienced, as opposed to what might actually be possible, because to you it feels impossible. But let's dive in. Let's start, Pisces, with looking at your recent past. You have take time to breathe out with the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. This is for Pisces recent past, please. Pisces recent past, please. One more. This is for Pisces recent past. Got dog hair all over me. Pisces recent past, please. I feel like this is kind of this feeling of like, kind of feeling like you had your world rocked in a not so good way, like your world kind of getting flipped on its head. I feel like this is an energy of kind of losing, like I feel like you felt like you were really lacking like the energy to invest in your life, like almost like you had so many other things going on that it made it difficult to actually invest in like maybe your responsibilities, or in the things that you were wanting to invest in, if you have like passion projects or things like that. I ultimately just feel like with this take time to breathe out, it does kind of feel like the universe was intentionally slowing you down a little bit so you could kind of catch your breath. And also, this cleansing card is kind of relating to this to me, kind of talking about, cleansing yourself from certain situations that maybe weren't the best for you. And so to you, it might have felt like things weren't working out, but in reality, I feel like in the bigger picture, way of looking at things, they really were, or are, is a better way to say that. Recent past for Pisces. Recent past for Pisces, please. There's the Empress. Five of Pentacles and the Sun in reverse. So there is a pretty intense feeling of loss in your recent past. And I feel like, this loss was, well, hang on. I want more. We're going to go back and clarify, but I want more on this Five of Pentacles anyway. Because the Sun in reverse to me is like, it usually to me kind of can stem from like can be like ego, but I don't really feel it in that way. Clarifying these messages. I feel like it's almost like what once was, oh, okay, because there's the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, which is what we're dealing with up there, and then the Ten of Wands in reverse. I feel like you lost a lot of what, like you lost the potential of something. It's interesting because it doesn't necessarily feel like the loss affects like your path. Like, I'm not saying it didn't, but it's almost like this loss and the purpose of it was to help guide you forward in some way, shape, or form. Because there's kind of this energy of like, I don't know if it's necessarily taking on the burdens of other people, being everything for everyone else around you except for yourself, or what, but I feel like you were kind of drowning here in your past. Like even before this loss occurred, like just kind of like trying to keep your head above water, but having so much on your plate that it's almost like you weren't able to really prioritize yourself here. Not that I believe that prioritizing yourself is like the only thing that matters, but again, going back to what I said in the beginning, you can only show up for everyone else to the extent that you do that to yourself first. And it feels like, I'm going to be honest, Pisces, I feel like you were struggling to really show up for yourself in your past because of the energy that you were in and dealing with. Pisces recent past. But because again, it's cleansing, right? Like cleansing your energy of what doesn't serve you, of what isn't meant for you. Temperance, Three of Cups, Lovers in reverse. Yeah, because it felt like this community. Like maybe you had like a community of people, or this maybe wasn't even just like one specific thing that fell apart, like something that directly affected like your community. And whatever this was, it didn't align with your worth here. And I feel like there's this level, especially so seeing these two cards together, the Lovers in reverse and the Seven of Wands in reverse, there was this energy of like not standing up for yourself, not setting boundaries, not sticking up for what you needed. And maybe because you felt like you couldn't, maybe you didn't feel like you were able to, or even if you did, like it didn't really matter in some way. I feel like it's like you were very patient. You tried to hold it together, but on a deep level, this was very much affecting you, affecting your sense of self-worth, affecting your sense of like even confidence, or like your emotional and mental well-being even. Like this, yeah, because there's the self-worth and self-confidence, this with the strength in reverse, that it was affecting. So it's like you were in this situation where I feel like you almost felt a little bit powerless. Okay, let's shift gears here. Current energy for Pisces, you have luck is on your side with the Empress. Current energy for Pisces, please. Luck is on your side with the Empress. Current energy for Pisces, luck is on your side with the Empress, please. The Ten of Cups in reverse with the Five of Wands. So you either did or are, you either were or are holding on to something for potential. And there's this like inner battle going on within you about this. It's almost like you know you're sacrificing for this. And like all good things do come with some form of sacrifice. There's no doubt about that. But the sacrifice doesn't necessarily need to be like of your worth. And I almost feel like that's kind of what this was requiring of you, which is why so much of what this is talking about now is if you're wanting things to change, this is about, it's almost like through this you were learning what it is that you didn't deserve. So now you know what you deserve, and it's about standing up for that to the best of your ability. But there's a part of you that's like torn when it comes to that. Maybe you know you deserve better, but you don't know if you actually can have better. Maybe you think this is as good as it can get for you, and so you're like, this, I've got to continue to invest in this because, well, what if this is as good as it gets for me? But that's why you have luck is on your side with the Empress. If you choose yourself, it looks like things will work out for you here. So you kind of got this internal battle going on. Current energy for Pisces. Current energy for Pisces, please. Current energy for Pisces, please. Three of Swords in reverse with the Judgment in reverse. In the World. So this is a cycle. Whenever, in this cleansing, the purpose of it is to help you close out some sort of cycle. There's the Knight of Wands, which we see in your immediate future. So, and it's almost like it's a cycle of not setting like boundaries or standing up for your worth. And what that comes with is the willingness to leave behind anything that isn't willing to meet you there, right? Because the Judgment in reverse is the need to see beyond what's happening into like why something's happening, like what this is trying to teach you, what the purpose of this is. And I will say that is what I try to do in a lot of my readings. But I feel like what you've been through and the healing from this loss, everything that you've been dealing with, it's been teaching you again. And I feel like I've said this already, but I'm saying it again for me, but then also to help kind of really nail the point home. It's teaching you what it is that you're not going to accept. Because, or what it, like, it's teaching you your worth in some way, not necessarily even like what you're not going to accept, but teaching you like what it is that you're truly deserving of. And knowing that the only way that we in this life receive what it is that we are deserving of is if we know our worth on such a level that we're willing to stand up for it regardless of the cost. And that's hard. It's a really difficult thing to do because oftentimes setting boundaries and standing up for ourselves does lead to loss. And we can use our fear of that loss to avoid setting certain boundaries. But I feel like that has been such a cycle for you, Pisces, in terms of like not standing up for yourself, not putting your foot down almost when it comes to like how you deserve to be treated and what you're going to accept in that way. So I feel like there's a lot more going on here than just what's happening. And that's why you have this Judgment in reverse. There's more to this than you might realize. Current energy for Pisces. Current energy for Pisces, please. So there's the Fool. But there's the Knight of Wands in reverse. There's a risk that needs to be taken in some way, shape, or form. And that could either be like toward or away from something. Either way, this is about you choosing yourself and believing in the good on the other side of that, whatever that means for you. In all of the other readings that I've done this week, I've stopped the reading here and I've gone back and I've clarified these messages. But for some reason, I've had this feeling that for this reading, I need to keep moving forward. So we're going to look at Believe in the Impossible with the Knight of Wands here. Immediate future for Pisces. Believe in the impossible with the Knight of Wands. Immediate future for Pisces, clarifying believe in the impossible with the Knight of Wands. A new perspective is what would bring you what it is that you desire. But the new perspective is necessary to bring about your Nine of Pentacles. But I want more on what this perspective is. What is this perspective? Okay, hang on. So those, because you have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse with the Knight of Wands, which are these two cards right here. So to me, it's like talking about how things unfolded. It's like if they didn't unfold this way, you wouldn't have learned what you need to be able to move forward to like new, to first of all, the new beginning, but like to new like experiences. You know, if we always do what we've always done, if we make the same decisions, if we interact in the same way with our reality, we're always going to end up with the same outcomes. We're going to have the same outcomes that it is that we're always used to. And that is where we get ourselves stuck in certain cycles. So breaking out of those cycles requires learning why, first of all, bringing the cycle to our awareness, understanding, you know, what the cycle, what the pattern is, how it's affected our life in different ways. And then learning what we need to from that cycle and then applying that knowledge to break the cycle and move forward. So, for instance, it could be talking about a relationship. It doesn't necessarily have to be romantic, it could be platonic, it could be familial, but a relationship with someone that maybe doesn't value you or doesn't necessarily treat you all that well or talks down to you or makes you feel small or something like that. And you kind of just put up with it. You put up with it because you maybe been taught to put up with it, or you feel like it's necessary to put up with that kind of treatment in order to have the relationship in your life. You fear the loss of the relationship, so you put up with the treatment, or whatever the case might be, which keeps you stuck in this cycle of feeling crappy, not feeling very good about yourself, constantly sacrificing what you need in the relationship for the other person. And it gets you in that place of like, well, um, I'm not aligning with what I deserve. And you go through that cycle enough times until you recognize it's a cycle. Maybe you try to talk to this person, they don't really ever make any changes, or maybe you don't ever try to talk to them. I don't know, whatever the case might be. But anyway, you learn what you need to. You learn, I can't accept this anymore. I can't put up with this anymore. And you decide to set a boundary, and you say, I'm going to put my foot down. I don't like being treated this way. I don't like being talked to. I don't like whatever the case might be. And again, this doesn't just have to be talking about a relationship at all, but you set this boundary that then causes the loss of the relationship. You get told that you're asking for too much, or that you're, the person gets defensive, or they blame you, or whatever the case is. And then you're kind of left with feeling like you did something wrong, right? But then throughout the healing of that, you start to learn that you didn't do anything wrong, that you did stand up to yourself, and that the loss was merely a product of you putting yourself first. And although that was unfortunate, you now know that you can open up you've cleansed your energy of what doesn't serve you, and you now know you can open up your energy to the people and the relationships in your life that will respect your boundaries and will value you for who you are. And sometimes if we don't make that decision for ourselves, if we don't set that boundary, the universe will actually push us into the loss, and we'll kind of have to learn that lesson in like the aftermath of the healing. Or we don't learn the lesson at all, and we repeat this pattern in relationships until we don't anymore. So that's kind of what I'm seeing here. It's almost like things had to happen, because if they didn't happen this way, you wouldn't have learned what you did. You wouldn't have gained this knowledge and this perspective and this wisdom that you did, which means you wouldn't be able to move forward in the way that you are now able to, which means you wouldn't ever be able to get what it is that you ultimately desire. So it really does feel like this is about recognizing that even if things have felt like they're not going your way, they might not be going the way that you expected them to go, but I certainly think that they're working out in a way that's far better than you are able to fully understand right now. Immediate future for Pisces: believe in the impossible with the Knight of Wands. Believe in the impossible with the Knight of Wands, please. Immediate future for Pisces. I want more on this, actually. Clarifying this Eight of Pentacles in reverse. Because, Pisces, I feel like you put a lot of pressure on yourself to be, like, perfect. Like, okay, hang on. Let me clarify this Eight of Wands, or Eight of Pentacles in reverse. It's so funny that those cards are back to back. Okay, there's the Devil, the Six of Swords, and the Hangman. Okay, yeah. So you put a lot of pressure on yourself to almost be like, I don't know if it's be perfect, or if it's be like, maybe you're like, oh, well, I have to settle for this relationship because I have all of these flaws, which means that I'm not actually deserving of what it is that I desire. Or I have to settle for this job because I'm not intelligent enough to pursue my own path, or whatever the case is. Like, it's like you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself and saying just because you're not perfect means that you can't have what it is that you desire. And I feel like what that's done is that's kept you stuck in situations that don't serve you. And not just stuck, but almost attached to. Like, there's this energy of like, if this doesn't work out the way that I want it to, then I'm going to be alone forever. If this job doesn't work out, then I'm going to end up like homeless on the streets, or whatever the case is. But I feel like this is recognizing that you are deserving of the life that you desire for who you are right now. Not, when you are more intelligent or more attractive, or when you finally get that promotion. That's not when you're worthy of what you desire. You're worthy of what you desire right now. And you have to make decisions in your life and saying, okay, if I'm worthy of what I desire right now, what in my life doesn't align with what it is that I desire and I'm deserving of? Because there's, we have to recognize that a lot of times we do accept what we think we deserve. Treatment, relationships, financial situation. And the only way to break free of that is to recognize that we are deserving of more and start acting in alignment with that. And the first thing that's going to come to mind when you think about that is how impossible it is. All the blockages, all the reasons why you're not good enough because you're not perfect. But this isn't about, this is the impossible becoming, you making the impossible possible. This is about you making what feels impossible possible by believing in it and acting in alignment with it. Immediate future for Pisces, please. Immediate future for Pisces, please. I think it's hard because you keep getting this Seven of Wands. Like the Seven of Wands is really stalking this reading. Just talking about standing up for yourself, setting boundaries, standing tall in your truth of knowing that you're deserving of more. Sometimes that's going to lead to disappointment because unfortunately, people in situations might not be willing or able to rise to what it is that you're requiring for certain, for that situation to be in your life. And that can feel really difficult because when we do experience disappointment because of setting those boundaries or standing up for ourselves, we're going to, and I kind of already alluded to this, but I want to add on to this, we're going to start to feel like we're doing something wrong. And like, we're going to second guess ourselves and second guess, well, should I just have continued accepting less? Or was that really the right thing for me to do? And the answer is always yes. If there's anything that I have learned on this journey, it's that setting boundaries with love, not coming from a place of defensiveness, but setting boundaries with love is the best way to is the best way to get into alignment. Because if you set a boundary with love, someone or a situation is either going to respect that boundary and rise to the occasion, or they're not. And if they don't, that is not a loss on your end. That is a loss on their end. And, it's their loss, right? Like, it doesn't necessarily help the disappointing feelings go away, but it certainly can help with the healing process so that you don't fall back into old patterns. Sometimes one of my favorite kind of sayings that's bouncing around the internet right now is like, anything that you lose as a result of speaking your truth or standing up for yourself or knowing your worth is not a loss, it's alignment. And that's a lot about what this is happening. If you want the life that you desire, if you want the relationship that you desire or the financial situation that you desire, you have to be willing to stand up for your worth, know your worth so deeply that you are willing to say, I will not accept anything that doesn't align with it, which will require taking certain risks and leaning on the universe for guidance and for support in times where you're not sure if things are going to be okay. We do settle whenever we think that that's as good as it can get for us. And that can come from a place of fear, a place of not knowing, or, that we're deserving, or whatever the case is, whatever the root is for you, that has to be healed. And I feel like through whatever situation has kind of gone down here, it's almost like it's taught you or is teaching you, whether or not you're consciously aware of it or not, that you are deserving of more than what this situation was providing you. So this isn't a loss, it's alignment. I know it doesn't feel like that, and I don't want to downplay how you feel or make you think that you're feeling the wrong thing. You should feel whatever you need to feel, but know in the back of your mind that all that's happening is you're cleansing your energy of what doesn't serve you so that you can have what it is that does. Through choosing your worth and standing up for that, you are making the impossible possible. And that is absolutely what's happening here. All right, Pisces, we are going to hop on over to the extended. We're going to focus on now what you need to do in alignment, or in order to move forward in alignment with your higher self. Any information for that is in the description box below. Thank you so much, Pisces, as always, for your support of my channel. I do hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, I wish you absolutely nothing but love and healing on your journey moving forward. Bye, Pisces.